Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be talking about AI and its impact on our lives. Kind of the future of us, as it were. We're taking a look at Oprah Winfrey's special AI and the future of us. She had a pretty amazing lineup of guests: Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI; Bill Gates, of course; tech influencer Marques Brownlee; and even FBI Director Christopher Wray. So we're going to unpack their insights and figure out what you really need to know about AI, because it's becoming more and more intertwined with our lives.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this conversation has evolved.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that AI was practically science fiction, and now it's everywhere. And people are finally starting to ask some important questions.
Exactly, and Oprah really pressed Sam Altman about this. How much does AI actually get? Altman explained that AI learns from massive amounts of data. It uses all this data to predict what's next. But does that mean it truly understands in the way that humans do?
That's a question a lot of people are struggling with. AI might be able to generate really complex outputs, like writing code or creating art. But some experts argue that it's not really intelligence. It's more like sophisticated pattern recognition, like a super-powered autocomplete. It finds the most likely next step based on the patterns it's learned.
Okay, so not quite the sentient machines we see in the movies then. But even if it's not thinking like humans, this technology still has huge implications. No wonder people are thinking about safety and regulations.
Right, and Altman himself emphasized the need for more oversight. He compared AI to things like airplanes or medicine. We have all these safety regulations in place for those technologies, and for a good reason. They have a massive impact on people's lives.
He actually said we should treat AI safety testing with the same rigor that we do airplanes.
It makes you think what kind of framework would even work for something that's evolving so rapidly like AI.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
I think we need regulations that can keep up with AI's rapid development. It's a delicate balancing act, though, encouraging innovation, but also protecting society from potential harm.
And speaking of safeguards, Oprah didn't shy away from asking Altman some tough questions about whether he's the right person to be leading the charge on AI. He said in the past that he doesn't think that any single entity should have too much control over this technology.
Well, there's a lot of debate about that. Some people are skeptical about Altman and OpenAI. They're not sure if they're really committed to responsible AI development. And they point to his previous statements about control as evidence that maybe his stance is shifting.
It's definitely a conversation worth having. Is it all part of a bigger plan? Is he evolving his thinking as the technology evolves? It's food for thought, for sure.
Definitely, it highlights how complex this issue really is. There are no easy answers.
All right, well, let's switch gears for a second. Let's talk about someone who's a bit more optimistic about AI. Bill Gates. He seems to really believe that AI has the power to revolutionize healthcare. Imagine AI handling all the administrative tasks in healthcare, freeing up doctors to spend more time with patients.
It's an appealing vision for sure. Quicker diagnoses, personalized treatment plans, more efficient use of resources. Yeah, it could potentially transform the entire healthcare landscape.
It almost sounds too good to be true. But we talked about some potential downsides of AI in healthcare earlier. So what are some things we need to be cautious about?
Well, one concern is that these technologies could be implemented unevenly, creating a divide between those who have access to AI-powered healthcare and those who don't. We need to make sure these advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few.
That's such an important point. Technology isn't a magic solution on its own. It's all about how we choose to use it.
Exactly, and that brings us to another area where AI is making a huge impact: entertainment. We've already talked about deepfakes. But AI is also being used in all sorts of other creative ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not just about special effects anymore. AI is being used to write music, write scripts, even create entirely new art forms and ways of storytelling.
It's pretty amazing to think about, like AI composing original music that sounds just like a human composer.
Yeah.
Or AI creating personalized movie recommendations based on what you like.
It makes you wonder what the future of entertainment will look like. Will we see entirely new genres of art emerge? Will our entertainment be even more personalized and immersive?
Those are great questions. I think it highlights the potential for AI to not just enhance entertainment, but to create entirely new forms of entertainment that we haven't even thought of yet.
It's exciting and a little daunting at the same time, but AI is having an impact on more than just healthcare and entertainment. It's also changing the way we work.
Absolutely. We're already seeing AI being used to automate tasks in a lot of industries. And as AI continues to evolve, it's likely to have an even bigger impact on the workforce.
Yeah, and I think when people hear about AI and automation, they worry about robots taking their jobs. What would you say to those concerns?
Well, it's understandable that people have those anxieties,
Mhm.
but I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used to enhance what we do, not necessarily replace us entirely.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's more about AI and humans working together.
Exactly. We need to adapt and evolve alongside AI. Focus on developing skills that complement AI, things that are uniquely human like creativity, critical thinking,
Yeah.
emotional
I
intelligence.
think those skills will always be valuable, no matter how sophisticated AI gets.
That's right. As AI takes over more routine and repetitive tasks, it could free up humans to focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
It's a more positive way to look at it for sure. And speaking of learning and development, AI is also changing education.
It really is. AI is being used to personalize learning experiences, providing students with customized instruction and feedback based on their own individual needs and how they learn best.
So it's like every student gets their own personal tutor.
It's kind of like that, yeah. AI can look at a student's work and figure out where they need more help. It can also adapt how fast or slow the teaching goes and what content it focuses on to match how the student learns best.
I mean, that could be a huge change for students who struggle in a traditional classroom. It could also help teachers become more effective by providing them with data and insights about how their students are doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's about using AI to help both students and teachers, creating a more engaging and effective learning environment.
So we've got AI transforming healthcare, entertainment, work, and education. It's hard to imagine an area of our lives it won't touch. What about how we connect with each other?
Well, AI is already playing a part in how we interact. Think about social media algorithms. They decide what we see on our news feeds. Or online dating platforms. They try to match us with potential partners. And as AI keeps getting better, it's likely to have an even bigger impact on our social lives.
It really makes you think about how AI will shape the future of human relationships. Will we become more connected or more isolated? Will our interactions become more superficial or more meaningful?
These are really complex questions,
Yeah.
and we're only just starting to think about them. But one thing's for sure, AI is going to continue to change how we communicate and connect with each other.
It's a lot to think about. All these changes and all the possible futures. Where do we even go from here? What are the biggest challenges and opportunities we need to be thinking about?
Well, yeah, so let's get back to AI's potential in healthcare. Bill Gates seems really excited about it.
Yeah, he really does. He talked about how AI could handle all kinds of things, like scheduling appointments, managing patient records, even helping doctors diagnose patients.
Right, and if AI can take over those kinds of tasks, doctors would have more time to actually spend with their patients, providing that more personal care. Think about it. No more waiting weeks to see a specialist. Your doctor has all your info right there, and AI can even help catch potential health problems early on.
I mean, that would be amazing. But earlier we were talking about some of the downsides of AI in healthcare. What are some things we should watch out for?
Well, one concern is that these technologies might not be available to everyone equally. Some people might have access to the latest AI-powered healthcare, while others don't. And that could create a kind of digital divide in healthcare. We need to make sure that everyone benefits from these advancements, not just a privileged few.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that technology isn't a perfect solution on its own. It really depends on how we use it.
Exactly. And that leads us to another area where AI is having a huge impact. Entertainment. We already touched on deepfakes.
Yeah.
But AI is also being used in so many other creative ways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's gone way beyond just special effects now. AI is being used to compose music, write movie scripts, even come up with totally new forms of art and storytelling.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, what if you couldn't tell the difference between AI-generated music and music composed by a human? Or imagine AI suggesting movies to you based on your own personal taste and what you've watched before.
Wow, it really makes you wonder what the future of entertainment will be like. Are we going to see completely new types of art? Will our entertainment become even more personalized and immersive?
Those are really interesting questions. I think it shows how AI has the potential to not only improve existing entertainment, but also create completely new kinds of entertainment that we haven't even thought of yet.
It's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time, but it's not just healthcare and entertainment that are being affected. AI is also transforming the way we work.
For sure. We're already seeing it being used to automate jobs in all kinds of industries.
Yeah.
And as AI gets more advanced, it's going to have an even bigger impact on the workforce.
And that brings up something I think a lot of people are worried about. When they hear about AI and automation, they think about robots taking their jobs.
Yeah, I get it. It's a natural concern. But I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in different ways. It doesn't have to replace us completely.
So maybe it's not about AI versus humans, but more about AI and humans working together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to adapt and evolve as AI continues to develop, and we need to focus on building those skills that make us uniquely human, skills that AI can't easily replicate, like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence.
Right, those are skills that will always be valuable, no matter how advanced technology becomes.
Absolutely, and think about it. If AI can handle those more repetitive and routine tasks, that frees us up to focus on the stuff that's more creative and fulfilling.
Yeah, that's a much more optimistic way to look at it. And speaking of learning and development, AI is also changing education in some pretty big ways.
Definitely. One of the things it's doing is personalizing the learning process. So students can get instruction and feedback that's tailored to their individual needs and their own unique learning style.
So kind of like every student having their own personal tutor.
Yeah, sort of. AI can analyze how a student is doing and figure out where they need extra help. It can also adjust the pace and content of the instruction to match how each student learns best.
I mean, that could be a game changer for students who don't thrive in a traditional classroom. And it could also make teachers more effective by giving them all this data and insight into how their students are progressing.
For sure. It's all about using AI to help both students and teachers to create a more engaging and effective learning environment.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is transforming healthcare, entertainment, the way we work, and education. I mean, it's hard to think of any part of our lives that AI won't touch. So what about how we connect with each other?
Well, AI is already influencing how we interact with each other in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like the algorithms on social media that control what we see on our feeds,
Yeah.
or the online dating platforms that try to match us with potential partners. And as AI gets more sophisticated, it's likely to have an even bigger impact on our social lives.
It really makes you think about what this means for the future of human relationships. Will AI make us more connected or more isolated? Will our interactions become more superficial, or will they become more meaningful?
Those are really tough questions, and we're only just starting to grapple with them.
But one thing is certain. AI will continue to play a major role in how we communicate and connect with each other. It's a lot to process. All these changes and all the possibilities for the future. So where do we go from here? What are the biggest challenges and opportunities that we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, so we've talked about how AI is impacting healthcare and entertainment and how we work and learn. But like you said, there's still a lot to think about when it comes to where we go from here. What are some of the biggest things we need to be thinking about as AI becomes even more a part of our everyday lives?
Well, one of the biggest, and probably the one we hear about the most, is how AI could change the workforce. As AI gets better at doing different tasks, some jobs are going to be lost. It's just something we have to prepare for.
Right, and it's totally understandable that people are concerned about that. When you hear people talking about automation and AI, it's easy to imagine, robots taking over everything. But is it really that straightforward?
It's definitely a complex issue, but I don't think it's about trying to stop AI. I think it's more about figuring out how to adapt to it. How can we work with AI and use it to improve what we can do and maybe even create new opportunities? So you're saying it's not really a case of AI versus humans, but more like AI and humans as a team.
Exactly. It's about collaboration. We need to focus on developing those skills that are uniquely human. The things AI can't do as well, like creativity and critical thinking and problem solving and emotional intelligence.
I think those are skills that will always be important, no matter how advanced AI gets.
Absolutely. And think about it. If AI takes over those more repetitive and boring tasks, that gives us humans more time to focus on the things we're really good at. It could even lead to new jobs, new industries, even whole new ways of thinking about work.
That's a really interesting perspective, but even if we're all for this idea of working with AI, there are still those concerns about how AI might be used in ways we don't want.
Absolutely. One of the biggest concerns is about control. As AI gets more powerful, we really need to think about who has access to it, who's making the decisions about how it's used, and making sure those decisions are in line with what we value as a society.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the humans behind it and the choices they make.
Exactly.
It's about governance and ethics and having those sometimes tough conversations about what we want the future with AI to look like.
And those conversations need to involve everyone, not just the tech people, right?
I couldn't agree more. This is something that will impact everyone, and we all need to play a role in shaping how AI develops.
I think that's a great point to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the possible benefits and risks of AI, the challenges and opportunities. And most importantly, we've emphasized the need for everyone to be informed and for AI development to be done responsibly.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and honestly, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
AI is going to keep changing at an incredible pace, so it's up to us to stay informed and engaged and be part of the conversation.
That's so true. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we create together. So to everyone listening, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep thinking about the role you want AI to play in your own life and in the world around you.
Because the future is in our hands, let's make it a future we can all be proud of.